and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for the final match of 2024, and it is Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. This right here is first against second in La Liga, and of course in this game we have got a massive point to prove here. We've got to come out fighting and showing something before the end of the year, and in today's video we're going to be going through everything to come in this match from both teams, because we are up against a very, very strong opponent on Saturday, and we're also going to be talking about some really big and really honest words from Rafinha, along with a bit of a different prediction from me today. That is all on the way for you. Let's do it for one final time this year. Come on! Because I would like to give a very special super thanks shout out here to Mame from Senegal. He is confident of a Barca resurgence there, and he's been a big fan of the channel for so many years there. So thank you very much for that brilliant support, my friend. And also to all of you guys here who have been tuning in all year with me for so many games, so many highs, so many lows as well. But we've gotten through it all, and we have one massive clash to come here, because when you're looking at the La Liga table right now, Barca, they are on top, but the only problem now is that we have some serious company alongside us, because in this game here, Atletico Madrid, they're on exactly the same points as we are. And of course the problem there is exactly the same problem that we have with Real Madrid, who are only one back. They both have games in hand there, so they're both going to have the possibility of leapfrogging Barca. But I also want to pay real attention in this game, guys, to this matchup, because of course don't forget, in terms of the league table, the meetings with those around you are so important because of the head-to-head ruling. It is very vital here to get wins over your rivals, because take our 4-0 win against Real Madrid there, for instance. If we finish level on points with them at the end of the season, it's highly unlikely ahead of the reverse game that they're going to do better than 4-0. So we are already going to have that head-to-head advantage, which of course in that event of a tie, it is absolutely crucial. So this game against Atleti here, big game for many reasons, but of course for Barca in La Liga, the reason now we've become really embroiled in a full-on title race is because we have massively slipped up. There is no other word for it there. We were going so well, so strong in the league, and we have fallen apart over the past few weeks there. We have one win, one solitary win in our last 6 in La Liga. And also you look at the games there, and obviously you can understand losing away at Real Sociedad, even away at Celta. That's a tricky game as well to drop points in. But Las Palmas, Leganés, these are games that you've got to win. And not only have we not won them, but we have actually lost both of those at home. And of course against Leganés, guys, one of the biggest problems by far and away, it was the finishing from Barca. And I thought it was interesting this week just to have a look here at the big chances missed stats when it comes to Barca. Because as you can see right here, in terms of La Liga, we are way ahead of the rest. In terms of missing chances, we are the kings of the league. We have missed 11 more than the next worst in Real Betis. We are way ahead there, Rounder. We missed 13 more big chances than they have. And again, way ahead of Atleti as well. So Barca have missed a lot of chances in front of goal. However, this is the interesting part though when it comes to these stats, because what you've also got to acknowledge here is that we are also the team creating way more, absolutely way more there than any other team in the league. I mean, we have created this season in La Liga more big chances, 24 of them more than Real Madrid have. So obviously, naturally, if you're creating more, if you're having more opportunities in front of goal, you are probably going to miss a few more as well. So maybe you can understand there those stats being a little bit higher. And I think ultimately we've got to celebrate here. We're getting in the positions. It's not as though we're failing to break teams down. It's not as though we're not finding a way through. We are creating a lot of chances. Our finishing has to improve. And what you also have to acknowledge here, in my opinion, we have at times been very unlucky. We have had certain things not go our way. You look at the stats here in terms of the woodwork being hit. Again, it's incredible. We're not just ahead of teams. We are way ahead there. 15 times we have hit the woodwork this season. Atleti, 9. They're the next most. It is absolutely extraordinary. And at some point here, we will get our rub of the green. At some point here, the luck will change. We will start to again find the back of the net on a regular basis and get that finishing a little bit better than it has been in recent weeks. And I think there's certainly a feeling, and looking today at Hansi Flick's press conference, there is still a feeling there of calmness. I don't think there's any panic inside of the club right now. I think there's an understanding of, okay, we're still on the right path. We've had a few dodgy results. We've had a few dodgy games, no doubt about that. But Flick said today, this is not a final. Don't think of this as though it's a final in terms of playing Atletico Madrid. It's the last game of 2024. We're playing against Atleti, an important game. They're one of the best teams in the league. But he said, if you told me when our project here started that on December the 20th, we'd be first in La Liga and right up there as well, of course, in the Champions League, I think he implied there, we'd all have taken that. We'd all like to have been in this position right here. So there's no need for immediate panic, all the alarm bells ringing. But of course we do have to improve. But what you would say above everything else this season is that in the biggest of games, in the biggest of moments here, when we're facing the tough teams, we have raised our level. We have risen to the occasion time and time again. And is it going to be exactly the same story this Saturday against Atletico Madrid? Because, well, let's get one thing absolutely clear. This is a top team. Because when you are looking at Atletico Madrid's last 11 games in all competitions, oh yeah, they've won all of them. They have literally won 11 games in a row. It is an extraordinary run right now that Diego Simeone's team is on, and those include some really impressive wins as well. Away at PSG, I mean, that's a good one. Obviously, these days, anyone can beat PSG, but obviously not to take anything away from Atletico Madrid. They also made an absolutely stunning comeback against Sevilla. Antoine Griezmann in that game was absolutely sensational. And of course, they've had winnable games in there too, favourable games, you'd say. But at the same time, looking at what Barca have done in so-called easier games, they're not always that easy. You know, playing lower league opposition, playing teams who aren't believed to be that strong is not always the walk in the park that you think it will be. So Atletico Madrid here are on an absolutely incredible run, you've got to say. And this right here is the kind of lineup that we are expecting from them. This is the team that we have seen quite consistently over the past 2 or 3 games from Diego Simeone. And you know, with his system, he's going to line up there with those 2 banks of 4. And it can be very flexible. We've seen at times he plays with a back 5. He can do that. The wingers, of course, will tuck in. They will all be asked to work very hard, work defensively. But Atletico Madrid, and this season as well, they can still go forward. They can still really hurt you. Griezmann and Alvarez, they are starting to combine now. They are starting to play really well and complement each other in the way that you were expecting when he joined for massive money in the summer. Of course, you've got Diego Simeone's son, who's been playing regularly this season. Giuliano Simeone, that's an absolutely incredible story. And you've got plenty of creation there from midfield. Paul Barrios working very hard in those central areas, and they are capable of really opening up teams as well. So Atletico Madrid, on paper there, they are strong. They may well line up with Clement Lenglet, my good friend Clement Lenglet at centre-back. We may see him play against Barca. And look, if he's playing well for Atleti, and he actually is, let's give the guy credit. He has been pretty decent recently. I'll just put it out there and say, Atleti, why don't you sign him permanently? That's an idea. But in terms of Barca then in this game, guys, about what we are going to do and about the way that we can really try and command this game, even without, of course, Lamine Yamal available to us. That is going to be a massive miss ahead of this game. But of course, we have to make sure now that he gets the recovery time that he needs, that we allow him to recover at his own pace, and at absolutely no point should he be rushed back in any way. So we have to find other solutions in this game. We have to find other threats there in those wider areas. And I want to talk about somebody here who's come out and really has honestly spoken about our difficulties right now. Rafinha has been speaking, and he was asked about our drop in performance. He said it's because of us. Now, this isn't the first time that Rafinha has been self-critical of himself, of the team as well. He said, we've been bad. Maybe we lack concentration in certain moments, and that's cost us. But he also made a real point here. For the first time of anybody at Barca, they have said it's also about tiredness. It is also about the team being tired. If I told you that we weren't tired in certain games when we dropped points, then I would be lying. And like I say, that's the first real admission from Barca that, okay, we are feeling it a bit right now. We have suspected over the past few weeks that Barca have just dropped off physically, you know, in terms of that intense approach, the way that we were playing, the way that we were pressing. We'd all started to suspect, okay, we're not quite seeing that same effort anymore. And maybe it's not because the players don't want to. I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting the fact here that they're still very much buying into what Flick wants to do, but it's just a case of they can't actually do it right now, and they can't really sustain that level with the amount of games that we we have been having. But of course, ahead of this game, guys, what we've got to say is this is a big moment. It's a big opportunity because we've had nearly the whole week without a game. Now, that is extremely rare this season. Very, very few times here have we come into a match with a lot of rest here. Players have had recovery time. They had 2 days off earlier on this week, which is also incredibly rare under Hansi Flick, and that time will have been used in the right way. And hopefully we will see now on Saturday a team that is ready to go, that is ready for one final push in 2024 before they get more time off after this game. So this is the big one. This is where you put all of your energy, all of your resources, leave it all out there in this game. We need this win, and we need to end the year in a positive way. Because indeed, guys, in terms then of the starting lineup that we could expect from Hansi Flick in this game, you would think that we would go with the familiar defensive line there. Of course, there's an outside chance that Ronald Araujo is involved, but he still hasn't really made that return yet. So would it be a big step there to include him from the start against Atletico Madrid? And Andreas Christensen, although back in training, although progressing really well, he will not be involved in the squad list for this match. And then into midfield again, you're looking for that familiar setup there. Casado and Pedri, for the majority of the season, they have been our go-to, and they have performed, especially in the very biggest of games. But then it's in the attacking side of the team, where there are question marks, of course, following the absence of Lamine Yamal, and everything in the media right now is pointing to Rafinha, to Olmo, to Lewandowski, and then to Ferran Torres from the start of the game and playing out wide there. So that's going to be interesting to see from Hansi Flick if he does choose to start Ferran Torres, and if he does, which side is he going to play on? Is he going to play out on the right-hand side, or is Rafinha going to be switched over there? It's going to be interesting to see that. But guys, do you believe that Ferran should start? Is he the man to come in? Is he the man here to ultimately replace Yamal on that side? Obviously, it's not a like-for-like replacement, but do let me know, if that was to be the lineup, would you be confident against Atleti? Because then we move on to the all-important predictions ahead of this game. And I've got to say, guys, it's interesting because there are a lot of people believing that Atleti or a draw could happen in this game. Barca win by 1 goal, a very slender margin. That's the majority there. Lots of people thinking, though, it could be by 2 goals, but we are getting less and less now believing that Barca are going to win these games by a multi-goal scoreline. And I'm going to do something interesting in this video here today. And I don't know if you guys remember, maybe some of you have been around for a long time here on the channel, there was a period where every prediction I would say, you know what? It's going to be a draw. And for a little period, Barca started winning those games. We were saying it's going to be a draw. There's nothing to expect here. It's going to be a draw. And we started winning. So I am going to call in all the favours, all of the footballing gods here in the final game of the year and say that Barca, wink wink, will draw against Atletico Madrid on Saturday, and let's hope we can all experience one more emphatic game to close out this year. Please, guys, do let me know your honest predictions in the comments down below. What are you expecting from this one in terms of the lineup and in terms of the scoreline? What are you believing will happen? I will see you after the game. It will be a big one, and it will be very important how this one ends. And I will see you then. For all of that, thank you guys for the support, for all of you tuning in here. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.